Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Monday Motivation No More Excuses podcast. Yes, this is the podcast where I do my best to get you fired up, ready to take charge of your business, your confidence, and your success. I'm Sandy, your host, the badass business coach, and today I want to talk about something big. We've waited all year for it. Are you ready? The fourth quarter. Yes. It's the fourth quarter, people. We're in the final stretch of the year. I know. It can be bittersweet. I don't know that I'm overly excited on one hand, but I'm very excited on the other. Yeah, it's just this is the time to make it or break it, right? No more excuses. Just like in sports, fourth quarter in football, last whatever, last few minutes, last inning, however you want to refer to it. It's the make or break time. There are no more excuses, no more waiting for the perfect moment. If you're in business, now's the time to pull it all together, get your shit together, right? And finish the year strong. Oh, today's episode, I want to dive into why the fourth quarter is so crucial for your business, how you can communicate more effectively, create more momentum. And if you've been slacking a bit, or you've had just life get in the way, like I have, what strategies, do you need that you can focus on to crush your goals by the end of the year? Okay. So why is the fourth quarter so crucial? Well, here's the thing. How you approach the fourth quarter says a lot about how you seriously you take your business, how you take your business seriously. Think about it. The last 3 months of the year, you can often make or break your annual performance. Why? Well, because it's time. It's time to get going. It's the time where people are starting to evaluate where they stand, reflect on their goals, reflect on what they've achieved, and sometimes over focus on what they haven't, right? The holiday season is coming up. You might be in an industry where you're already focusing on the holidays and planning for that. You might be getting holiday orders, staffing up, staffing down. Some people shut down during the holidays. Whatever it is, you've got to be prepared for it. And there are greater opportunities to make those important connections, make those important decisions. So you might be spending more time networking, might be spending more time, checking on your financials, checking on your processes and procedures. And you've got to be able to push forward, right? Quit looking back. You ain't getting none of those months back. It's right here and right now. And if you're feeling like you didn't quite hit the mark in the first 3 months or 3 quarters, I wish we were still in 3 months sometimes, but don't worry. This is your time for a comeback. You can't do anything about what happened. All you can do is focus on what you're going to do and what you want to happen. You can still hit those yearly goals if you get laser focused now. But if you're just coasting and hoping things will magically come together, well, it's time for a rude awakening. That shit does not happen. Wishing is, a goal without a plan, right? Goal without a deadline. Wishing is not going to help you. Let's get it going. So an actionable tip, take a moment right now. Well, if you're driving or out and about, not right now, but you know what I mean, come back or talk to your phone, talk to Siri or Alexa and let them know. Just making sure she didn't pop up on my computer. Take a moment to review. Tell that person, tell your phone to review the goals. Where am I? What goals, did I have? Look at those. You should have them written down. Review them. What you started at the beginning of the year. Are you close? Are you on track? Are you off target? Did you excel? Did you exceed them? So if not, what can you realistically do to either hit them or make a great stride or even pivot? Is now the time to pivot? Remember that pandemic, we all had to pivot. Most of us did, to see what we can do. What do you need to get back on track? And if you've already hit your goals, maybe you set a certain dollar amount of income or sales goal or whatever it was, maybe you can do a little more. Or is it time to look at, was that enough for you? If it is, cool. But that means that now you have the time because you can coast a little bit, you can take the time to review everything and really look at what you want to do and how you set yourself up for next year even, right? And you don't want to let it dip. Don't just go, well, I've hit my goals, I'm going to do nothing for the next few months, because that will be harder. Think about it. You're climbing out. If you slide back down the hill, it's going to be harder to get back up to where you were. So just see what you can do to maintain and maybe take a couple little more steps. Okay. So reset your focus. It's, I got to get real for a second. It's the fourth quarter and it's not the time to try and do everything. So again, if you're off track, let's focus, prioritize, and strategize. Okay. If you're spreading yourself too thin, now's the time to ask yourself, what's actually going to move the needle forward in my business? Now, I'm working with a woman right now who runs a franchise, and her business partner and her had a little bit of a falling out. And she's luckily, they did have a conversation recently, but she's not getting the help that she thought she would. And she's having trouble with staff. Let's come in and insert Sandi, and we're going to do a survey and some team building workshops and events like that to try to build some morale, because they are going into a really busy holiday season where she needs everyone on board and she needs the support that she thought she had. Right. So, because right now she is opening, closing, not taking days off. She's burning herself out. And I don't want you to do that as well. So if you're spreading yourself too thin, what can you do differently? What will actually take your business forward? And a lot of times it's taking a day off, taking a half a day, taking 2 hours and take a walk or a break, go read a book. I talk about this a lot. You got to mentally be right before you can mentally be right for others, right? So if you gave it your 100% focus, what could be your biggest impact now? Okay. For example, I already gave you an example for my client, my new client. But if your goal was to hit a certain revenue, and then you're not there yet, don't waste the time on fluff or bullshit activities that don't directly affect the revenue. Sales calls, client acquisition, closing deals. If you're a service-based business, that now's the time to launch that end of the year promotion. If you sell products, start planning your holiday strategy now. Okay. Now. And, just work on what's going to be 3 things I can do this week to help me make, like I said, maybe it's follow-up calls, sales calls, those prospect things. Maybe it's a little more networking. And if you're, like I said, service-based, end of the year promotion or holiday promotions. All right. Get that done. Get your 90-day plan in order now. Say, all right, here's my big year goal, but here's my 90-day goal. Here's what I really need to have happen in the next 90 days. And then break it down into monthly, and then break it down into weekly. Okay. Weekly. Just look at them. Big baby steps, little baby steps, right? It doesn't matter what size of step, just break it down and take those steps, because you don't want to get to the end of the year and go, well, once again, didn't do it, right? We all have maybe something, maybe those 5 pounds we didn't lose, or running another marathon because you had to have a knee replacement. But, there's all these things that what we can do. Okay. And leverage the momentum, even if you feel behind, like I do personally. Yes. I haven't posted a podcast in a few weeks. Why? Because 3 weeks ago, last Friday, I had my knee replaced. You've heard me talking about the podcast, about my knee in my podcast 4 months now. I'm tired of talking about it, but guess what? I've had one. I'm going to have a second one here. So I'm just seeing what I can do. In the last few weeks have been about taking care of me and doing absolutely just what I needed to do for my clients. My clients were my focus. My clients are my healing, my focus. So what can you do? Maybe you have had a health setback, or you've had a family setback where somebody else had a health thing. Maybe the weather went to shit, or, we've all heard about the hurricanes all over the South, mainly Florida, but it's going into North Carolina and some other states. That put a wrench in their day. So when you start thinking about what you haven't done, think about what they're going through and what they have to do to just get through the day, to recover and get through the day and save what they can of their business, their life, right? And so now I know some of you are listening and might think, oh, Sandy, I'm so far behind, or shit just completely went sideways, like for the people in the South after Helen or Helene, whatever her jackass name was. There's no way I'm going to catch up. But guess what? Momentum is a powerful thing. Once you start taking considerate, consistent action, intentional, consistent action, even if it's small baby steps at first, you can start building that momentum to carry you through the rest of the year. All right, I'm going to do it. I know you can as well. And here's the good news. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up. It's whether that means launching that email campaign you've been procrastinating about. I do see someone that's been posting or sending that email campaign for months now. And I think for almost a year, it was her biggest hindrance. Like she wanted it to be perfect. She was at the right time. Was this? Oh, Nicole, congrats. You rock. But launching that email campaign, following up with a few more leads, finally hiring that help you need, every little bit helps. Okay. Actionable step. Start small if you need to, but just start. That is probably the biggest, most simplest and biggest step, actionable tip I can give you. Take that step, start, take one action today that your future self will thank you for. Don't wait until tomorrow. Today is your opportunity. I don't care if you're just seeing this or listening to this or hearing this at 9 o'clock at night. What can you do? Maybe it's make the list for tomorrow. Maybe it's do 10 more push-ups. Maybe it's clean that one little corner of the office or the room or the whatever room that's been driving you batshit crazy, that is getting the clutter, physical clutter in your head. Today is your opportunity to set that tone for how you want to finish the year. All right. And think about this, the power of accountability. I talk about this all the time. Accountability. Here's the one thing I've learned from coaching for all these years. Accountability changes the game. Accountability changes the game. When you have someone holding you accountable, whether it's a coach, a mentor, accountability partner, a business partner, you're far more likely to hit your goals. So in this last quarter, make sure you're not going it alone. Life is a team sport. Check in with your team, your mastermind group, get a mentor, get a coach, let them know your fourth quarter goals and ask to have them help you hold you accountable. For another example, I've had clients who were stuck for months spinning their wheels. But once they stood up, stepped in, leaned in to their challenges, and we did weekly accountability check-ins, their progress shot through the roof. And I'm not saying weekly works for everyone. It just did for a few people that I work with. And, if you don't have an accountability partner, find one this week. Email me, Sandi, with an I, at sandyballard.com. Go to my website, badassbusiness.coach. And just reach out, ask someone to help hold you accountable. It could be a business colleague, someone in a similar industry. Share your goals, share your timeline, and commit to regular check-ins. All right. So in closing, the bottom line, the fourth quarter, it's your chance to end the year on a high note. Even if you're like, there's no way in hell I can hit my goals, or I'm so far ahead, I can look at next year and be even bigger and badder and stronger and more badass. That's great. Whether you're ahead or behind, you still have time to make an impact. And if you're that far ahead, what can you do to help others? Could you volunteer? If you have staff, could you volunteer throughout the holidays? Could you do something to make an impact for others? But it requires focus, action, and a refusal to settle for anything less than your best effort. Take a hard look at where you're at, make the adjustments necessary, and get after it. No more excuses. No more excuses. It's time to step up and make the rest of your year count. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for tuning in and to today's episode of No More Excuses. If you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend, a colleague, post on your social media, and don't regret this year by doing nothing. All right. But don't forget to email me, Sandi@sandyballard.com, if you need help, but also just let me know where you are and what your 90-day goal is. I'd love to hear, or post it in the comment section wherever you're seeing this. What are you going to do monthly, weekly, monthly, whatever it is, or just say, by the end of the year, I'm going to achieve blank. Put it in there, put it out for the world, and let's see how we can help hold each other accountable. All right. As always, until next time, stay badass. Cheers.